to, if any late guests come in, because I have everyone on a time crunch today, so we have a lot of places to go and a lot of people to say. I just wanted to say good morning and welcome. Dan, are we live? Wonderful, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan Moran. I'm the Director of Donor and Alumni Engagement at Caldwell, so I've been the one that's been emailing you, and so I apologize if you felt overwhelmed, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what was going on the past few days. As the Director of Alumni Engagement, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to Reunion and your friends later when they arrive. For those of you joining us from live stream, hello and welcome. We are so happy you are joining us today. You will also be able to join us at 4:30 for our Reunion Liturgy in our Sister Mary Dominic Tweedis Chapel. So tune back in, use that link that I sent you this morning. Two particular groups that I want to just give a shout out to is the class of 1970 and the class of 1971 that are with us today. Yes. The class of 1970 didn't have the reunion last year because of COVID, and we're just so happy that so many of you came back this year to celebrate with us. And to 71, I'm so happy to finally meet all of you, and I can't wait to hear more from you all later. So thank you for being here. To start off the day, I would like to invite Mary Lou Nowak Giacomelli, class of 1966, who traveled all the way from the great state of Colorado to be with us today.
This is a heart prayer by Joyce Roop. For surely I know the plans that I have in mind for you, says God, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Then, when you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me with all your heart, I will let you find me, says God. Oh God, we seek you with all our heart. The longing for you is planted deep within our hearts. Hear our cry for you. Help us to welcome you in all of our life. We have indeed received much joy and encouragement from your love, because the hearts of saints have been refreshed through you. Thank you, Heart of Love, for those people who have come into our lives and refreshed us, for all those people who have given us new hope on our journey, especially in our weary moments. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. Come into these corners of our heart where we still have not discovered the treasure of you, God. Purify us, all the stuff that distracts us and fools us and gets us off course from our inner journey with you. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. Teach us what it means to love you with all our heart. Guide and direct us to make good decisions each day so that we will grow more fully in love with you, God. I will give them a heart to know that I am their God, for they shall return to me with their whole heart. How wonderful you are, God of love, to continually draw us into your embrace. You yearn for us to know you more fully. You call us to return to you with the fullness of our love. Receive our prayer this day, which we offer to you with trust and with a deep desire to be more one with you. Amen.
Thanks, Mary Lou. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Man of the Week at Caldwell University. Caldwell University's 9th president, Dr. Matthew Whalen. Prior to becoming Caldwell's president, Dr. Whalen served as the vice president for enrollment, strategy, and relationship development at Stony Brook University in Long Island. Dr. Whalen and his wife Kathy are no strangers to New Jersey, as they lived in Caldwell when they were first married, and Dr. Whalen grew up in Denville, attending both St. Mary's School and Morris Catholic High School. Dr. Whalen is committed to preserving the mission of Catholic liberal arts institutions. He has extensive experience leading administrative and faculty teams at both Catholic and public higher education institutions, including St. John's University, Hofstra University, William Patterson University, and Mercyhurst College. In addition to his formal roles in higher education, Dr. Whalen has held a number of positions on national higher education boards and associations, presented nationally and internationally on issues impacting higher education, coached a women's soccer team to an NCAA Division II Final Four appearance, and taught graduate students in higher education administration. Now, without further ado, I ask Dr. Whalen to share some brief remarks.
Thank you, Megan. Can everyone hear? Good, thanks. I have some prepared remarks, and I think what I'd rather just do is sort of talk to you. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. You've come a long way, some of you. Others have come a short hop and a jump. No matter how far you've traveled, I think it's good that you're back, and I hope you feel in some way like you're home. Because that's what we endeavor to be for you always. We endeavor to be a second home, a place where you can return to and feel as you did while you were here. As students, as learners, as people who appreciate the arts, the sciences, the business world, whatever it might be. Caldwell may have changed a little bit since you left. Maybe a little bit. But one thing that hasn't changed is that the sisters are the soul of the institution. The sisters remain with us every day. The sisters are on our board. The sisters are in various buildings named after them. The sisters do some advising. The sisters are our alumni. The sisters are across the street. The sisters walk the campus. The sisters are at the mother house. The sisters are here. So not only are they present in this soul-like fashion, they are present in their physical fashion, and they remind me of that every day. Sister Luella, the prioress, and I, we are regular visitors with each other. I spend some time taking Sister Luella out to lunch every month. She catches me up on what's important with the sisters, and I catch her up on what's happening with the college. And so we have come a long way since 1939. Probably an even longer way since Mother Joseph Dunn first envisioned the beginnings of the foundation of the college, Caldwell College for Women at that time. Before that, it took her 4 to 6 years, I think, to convince the bishop to finally give the stamp of approval for Caldwell College of Women to be founded. And I think it was probably one of the best stamps or imprimatas he gave at any time in his career. So that is really, to me, who we are and who we'll always be. And we need you, as the alumni, to remind us of that all the time, every day. You can never change so much that you've forgotten where you've come from. And that, for me, is sort of a working motto for my life. Because, I grew up right up the road from here in Denville, New Jersey. It was one of 8. I just told the reporter from our diocesan paper at the time, the Beacon, all about this. I grew up in Denville. Art life was centered around church, school, the field, Gardner Field, which is where we learned to play baseball and soccer. I learned one of those better than the other very quickly. I was not a good baseball player. My brother was a hero baseball player, so I had big shoes to fill. And we worked in my dad's store. And so we, 8 kids, family of 10. First question we got was, is it from two parents? Yeah, we were just from 2 parents. And we grew up in a very tight-knit family, learned how to work together. And in the late 60s, early 70s, when the big stores opened up and all of the big box stores opened up, before Barnes & Noble and before Amazon, you had, Walden Books and Cole book and paperback Booksmith, and this little bookstore that my dad had, books and papers and cigarettes, was pretty quickly diminished in its importance. But people lost a real gem when that store closed, because the corner store mentality, the place where people would go to catch up on what was happening at church or what was happening down at the fields, it was lost to that town and remains lost to everything I've understood about that today. But that's the type of place I grew up in, and I've never forgotten that. And so as I came to Caldwell, I want to make sure we never forget our history and the history with the sisters. We have been through a lot. The sisters have survived through World War II. They've survived the Korean conflict. They survived through the Vietnam era. They survived through the disruption of the civil rights movement in the 60s and late 60s. They survived through the 70s and the scandals brought about by the government. Pick a time in history when there wasn't conflict. And Caldwell University, Caldwell College for Women, and/or Caldwell University was present. It was present in this community, and it is an important asset to this community. And so I have several goals to achieve when I came here. My background is in small colleges, and people say, well, you've worked at this large public research university. Why are you back here? And I'm back here because this is exactly the type of place that I attended and that made the biggest life imprint on me. It made the biggest imprint on my life. I attended Mercyhurst College, for those of you who don't know, a small little Mercy school on the shores, literally on the banks of Lake Erie. I could see Canada from my dorm room. We got ice on our windows on the inside. It was cold. But those Sisters of Mercy made a bigger imprint on my life than anyone ever had before. And I knew that as I ended my career, and that's not tomorrow or even next week, or I've got many years left, I hope, but as I ended my career, I wanted to make sure that I returned to the type of place that helped me so much. I had a brother attend Notre Dame, Scranton University, good Jesuit university, University of Dayton, so there's a flyer someplace in here. There you go. All Catholic colleges. My sister went to Washington and Jefferson, a really good liberal arts college in Western Pennsylvania, really good. First question my dad asked is that Catholic? I was in admissions at that time. I said, no, Dad, it's not Catholic, but it's a great school. Don't worry about it. But the Catholic part, I think, of Caldwell is important. It's important to our students, even if they're not Catholic. And many are not. But it does promote a value system. Our core values of respect, integrity, community, and excellence will carry these students through their lives. Respect for themselves, teaching them how to respect themselves, number one, to take care of themselves, physically, spiritually, professionally. Respect for others, understand different viewpoints, and that the world will have different viewpoints, and that that's okay. You don't have to agree with people. You do have to respect people. Integrity, the personal integrity to do what's right. The community integrity, to be a part of this community if you say you're going to be a part of this community. Community is our third core value. We are a community. 2 weeks ago, we had 170 people doing service. That group packed 17,500 meals in 3 hours. 17,500 meals to send out around the world. My understanding is they went to Haiti, a country that I can't think of a more devastated place right now. Just unbelievable. So, community is important, and excellence. We're going to do everything with excellence. So that's what my goal is. And so as you look around at our academic programs, our faculty can stand with the best. We sent a student this year to a 10-week biology neuroscience program at MIT, Yaman Thapa. That very same woman, stood on this stage on Friday night and gave a poetry reading in a sort of rap syntax. I don't love rap, I can tell you that right now. Using physical, physics, and biological term to describe what happens when someone falls in love. You know, her hypothalamus screamed, her frontal cortex dreamed, it was an unbelievable just emotion and use of the written arts for someone who is also really good at biology and neuroscience and can probably right now, having graduated from that program at MIT, get into any program, any graduate program in the world. These graduates go on and do great things like Barbara Dietrich did from earlier, 60, Kevin, I can't remember, 65, thank you. So, you know, again, sorry about the script. Where's Vanessa? She's getting mad at me. I'm not using the script. So, but the important thing is we are a special place. Caldwell's a really special place. What we do, our students come to us, many of them very, very smart. Some of them intellectual giants. Many could go on and get into other institutions. They don't want to. We talked to a student 2 weeks ago at the open house. She is coming here to go into the 7-year pre-med program that we have in cooperation with Rutgers, I think, Kevin. She is a straight A student, honors student. She also is a nationally awarded ballet dancer who also won awards for violin while she was dancing ballet. Science, arts, it all goes together, and we can do that here. We do it very, very well. The large research university I worked at, major buildings, major equipment, nuclear cyclotrons we built, absolute unbelievable microscopes that required no vibration. Try and get a building not to vibrate. You don't feel them, but they do. And you have such a microscope that measures so finely that it can't vibrate. Undergraduates never got into those buildings, ever. Beautiful things to talk about. Nobel faculty in one case, undergraduates never saw those students. I have a very good friend who's a chemist, a material science chemist. He's trying to turn carbon dioxide, if you heat it to some degree level, it somehow turns into a sealant that's a natural sealant. He was bemoaning the fact one day he had to go out and teach an undergraduate class. I said, Tad, you're a bright guy. Where do you think graduates come from? So again, this is a special place. We have 2,200 students, and we don't work with 2,200 students. We work with one student at a time, 2,200 times. That's our goal. That's what we do, and that's because that's what the sisters' goal is. So to all of you who've come out with these wonderful degrees you have in science and the arts, and whether you've gone on to business or whatever, it's been an amazing journey. So how are we doing right now? We're doing, and how much time do I have? Because
you're on the final countdown.
Okay, so stretch it a little bit. Thank you. All right, I'm going to give you the update now. Sorry. I want you to know the place that you attended changed in the physical structure, and that's good. It changed maybe in the academic offerings, I think, and that's good for today's student body. I don't think it's changed in its spirit or its intentions to provide students with a liberal arts education no matter what their degree is. Young women going into criminal justice. One of them last year who wanted to be a Capitol Police officer after the riots. Can you imagine? A young woman who wanted to do that. She was also educated in all the arts and the sciences that count as liberal arts. So where are we now? We're doing well. The state of the let me do a politician thing. The state of the university is strong, right? So it is strong. We came out of COVID. We worked really hard to come out of COVID, and I had great people like Kevin and Megan and Vanessa to help us. The cabinet was phenomenal. The faculty was phenomenal. The students and staff were phenomenal. We never closed. We did not close our building. We downsized according to state regulations. We had to. We have some programs in place, masks when we're not, eating and drinking and things like that. We were supposed to be having our masks on, our double vaccinated and whatnot. We're requesting our students and telling our students to get vaccinated. We're doing these things to keep the entire university safe. I can't wait till it's over. There are no winners in this whole virus. We've had students lose parents. We have faculty get ill, very ill. We've had people leave here because they can't come back after COVID. We've seen the gamut. We've lost many alumni. I lost a good friend who was a college president. We all want this thing behind us. We are working hard at Caldwell to make sure it goes behind us. So how do? We did well. We never closed. We took a little hit in our student body this year, as did most of the universities, except for the public universities. These movements underway to declare public universities free of tuition, in my opinion, even having worked at a public university for 15 years, that is not good. Things that are free don't have value. People begin to expect this is free. I can do whatever I want. Some countries that offer free tuition have seen high unemployment because they have this overqualified workforce and not enough jobs. So while we took a hit in enrollment, and we're being very careful with the budgeting this year, a hit in enrollment, by the way, means a hit to our budget. We know exactly why that happened. 50 students couldn't get here from international countries because their consulates were closed. So we lost about 100 students. We know where that 50 came from. We know the countries they came from. We actually know those students' names, and we're in contact with them right now. We also lost about 50 students because we could not get into the high schools to visit students. And like many of you, like me, I didn't want to go home and turn Zoom on when I was done with my day. My day never ends, but I still didn't want to go home and turn Zoom on. But Larita, except for you, maybe so. It just became very difficult to get into these high schools. So we lost students there. But we are now clawing our way back, and we've got some programs to help us get back. We added a women's acrobat and tumbling program, the first acrobat and tumbling program, NCAA Division II in the state of New Jersey for women. I am one of 6 brothers from a large family. I have 2 sisters. They're tough kids, but they are very, very feminine too. But they are tough young ladies. At this point, tough middle-aged ladies. Don't let them hear you. I won't repeat that in front of them. But I coached a women's soccer team to an NCAA Final Four. It was one of the best experiences of my life. How do you take 18 people, different personalities, different skills, and put them together to have them go 22-1 and beat some teams such as West Point, who was on a 22-game winning streak, on their home field on Parents' Weekend? We got out of there so darn quickly that night. It was an amazing experience in leadership and management, and it's one of the experiences that stayed with me forever. So we added that team. We added a men's rugby club. Why? Why men's rugby? We could have added women's rugby too. We have to watch the balance of genders here. We have to watch how our gender balances. Gender balances are going towards 60-40 these days. The lost group in higher education, believe it or not, is young men. They are flocking away from higher education. They are leaving higher education to go into jobs, warehouse jobs perhaps, or out in the West, they're going into mining jobs, and good-paying jobs that don't advance very quickly. So we've got to figure out where the young men are in the world, and we thought that might help bring us. And we are going around the world. What does that do for Caldwell University? It brings our name, our brand. It brings it all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. Our coaches from South Africa. We have students coming here from Ireland next year, one from New Zealand. It brings the Caldwell name to them. We have a student attending here from Mauritius. I had to look it up on a map. Can you remember where it is? So go to South Africa, go out into the Indian Ocean to Madagascar, and then go out another 800 miles and there's this little speck on a dot. That's Mauritius. How she found Caldwell, we don't know, but she heard of us, and she's here. That's what we want to do with Caldwell. We want to bring the name out. So our enrollment, it took a dip due to COVID. We're on the way back up. We've received some good news this year. We received some grants from the federal government through the CARES Act. They've been very, very helpful. They haven't replaced all the tuition we lost during COVID, but they've helped. But this year we also won a $5 million grant, $4.93 or $8 million, over $1 million over 5 years to hire 4 new faculty in the sciences, in STEM fields, a new bilingual admissions counselor, a new bilingual advisor, and a new bilingual navigator to help students find their way to Caldwell. Largely Hispanic students, not limited to Hispanic students, but largely Hispanic students who are not finding their way into higher education. It's one of the largest growing populations in the country, and in New Jersey, by the way. I think it's second largest to Asian. So we're out there finding students, we're out there finding grants. We hope to have some more good news on another grant coming early next fall. It's a year-long process to get these grants. These are U.S. Department federal grants. So we're doing well there. So my goals very quickly this year, we are going to put a financial footing under Caldwell University that is going to take us well into the future. I am planning right now to strengthen Caldwell University for the centennial. And my commitment is we're doing everything we can, not only to get there, but when we're there, to be thriving. That's number one. Number two, we're going to do everything we can to build the campus infrastructure so our faculty and our staff have the very best facilities to teach. Very quickly this summer, we put in a Bloomberg Lab, a Bloomberg Terminal Lab for business, so that our students walk out of here with the skills and advantages they need to secure those jobs in finance and economics, knowing how to read the research on a Bloomberg Lab, knowing what the trading symbols stand for, knowing what the price to equity ratios are, and et cetera, et cetera. I have 3 brothers who are accountants. I was going to be the guy who didn't work with numbers. I spend a lot of my time working with numbers, though. We put that in very, very quickly. One of our students this year secured an internship at Credit Suisse. So I had a daughter attend a very, very good business school, one of the top, and she tried for the Credit Suisse job and she didn't get it, the internship. They are very difficult to get. My daughter is now working with McKinsey, another very good company, but she did not land that one. The Caldwell student got the internship and then he's a senior here right now. He has a job waiting for him in September with Credit Suisse. That's what we're doing here. That's what our faculty are doing. A Wharton MBA with a Georgia PhD who worked for the International Monetary Fund teaching these students. And I asked these faculty, why are you here? Why is our science faculty who's got a PhD from Duke here? He said he doesn't want to do research. He wants to teach. He wants to be with undergraduates. Why is a person who used to work at McKinsey here? Because she wants to teach. That's who our faculty are. Whether it's English or science or business or some of the other programs we have, our faculty are phenomenal. So third, I'm going to invest in the faculty. I've got to invest in the faculty to make sure we can keep them here, to make sure our salaries are among the lowest in New Jersey right now. We're going to fix that over the next 5 years. But to fix that, I need to drive the enrollment up. Enrollment drives everything. To drive enrollment up, we need to secure some additional financial aid, whether that's from the federal government, the state government, whether that's from donors or endowments. We need to secure that. That's pure and simple. It keeps our costs where they are now among the lowest in New Jersey. We're very proud of that. Our debt load is below the national average. We're trying to keep everything in place there. So that's the other thing I'll do, is try and make sure that those programs are in place. We'll try and put some programs together to raise some additional financial aid. And last but not least, we're going to invest in student success. Our goal is to invest in student success so that we can make sure that the students who start here finish here. That's our commitment. We admit them. I was a long-term dean of admissions, associate provost for enrollment. I spent 15 years in strategic initiatives and That was an interesting job because it was anything the president thought up that morning. But our commitment is when we admit you, we'll graduate you. So that's the other thing we're going to invest in here, so that we can keep the mission and vision of the sisters alive. We will never, ever, in my tenure, we will never walk away from that. As a matter of fact, I'd like to double down on it. And with your help, I'll be able to. So remind me, call me, email me, contact me, tell me what you need me to do so that we can keep Caldwell strong, moving up, and prepared for our centennial, not just to survive, but to thrive. So that's it for now. Thank you. I'm going to need an armed escort out of here. I think I went a little long. Sorry, Megan.
No.
I'll be around for lunchtime. Questions? Pick them up. I'll try and answer.
Thanks, Dr. Whalen. I'd just like to go over a schedule of the day for those of you who didn't pick up.
About 15 minutes behind.
I know, and I keep myself on the schedules are up here, so if anybody didn't grab one on the way, feel free to grab one on your way out. So after this, we will head over to the dining hall for lunch. In the back of the dining hall, we have reserved tables in the back for all of the classes, so feel free to sit wherever. There's also yearbooks and some archival stuff that's there, so if you want to check out any of that stuff, because I know not everyone is staying for the entire day, so feel free to browse at your leisure. Around 1:30, whenever everyone decides that they're done with their meal and wants to go, we will have some campus tours led by our student ambassadors. Feel free to check that out. I got the stamp of approval from our Assistant Dean of Residence Life that she is allowing me to take the group into the residence halls, close your ears, with masks on, and we are just going to peek in so you can see from one to the other, and that's it. And then you'll be right back out. So, in Mother Joseph, yeah. So, but you didn't hear that. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll be over in the Student Center again for our toast, which used to be the Golden Anniversary tea. We're changing things up a little bit. And then 4:30, the liturgy, and 5:30, dinner. So the schedule's up here. I just wanted to go over it. And then for you, those of you still on live stream, hello, I didn't forget about you. We'll see you at 4:30 for liturgy if you want to join us. And for those of you who do not want to take an actual tour with our student ambassadors, in the bags that you received today, you should be a smaller card with Sister Gerardine's artwork that is all over our campus. So feel free to walk around campus and try to find her artwork. It's beautiful. Sister Gerardine just celebrated her 100th birthday this year. An amazing individual. The Mother House and St. Catherine's Infirmary is closed because of COVID, but anything else is fair game, so feel free to wander. If you do want to go over to the Bloomberg Lab that Dr. Whalen was speaking about, it's on the second floor of Warner Hall, which is just across the way, and I can lead you, or one of our staff members can lead you if you'd like to check that out. It's, we can see it, the ticker's on, and you can see in. The Mueller Gallery, which is dedicated to Sister Gerardine, is also open today from 1 to 3. That's in the Student Center, and we have artwork from Anne Goffin-Smith. It's beautiful artworks there, so if you have an opportunity, stop in and check it out. Sorry I'm talking so much. That's it. Let's go have fun. Everyone deserves a mimosa or a glass of wine. So thanks for being here, everyone, and we'll see you over in the Student Center. You can stroll, and schedules are up here.